To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
What is it about Disney that makes us happy? Is it the magical whistle as your ticket is scanned at the main gate? Is it the seafaring smell of pirate water? Or is it charting a course to a land where you may never grow up? Whether it's singing a familiar song, watching a movie, or riding your favorite attraction for the 100th time, Disney undeniably has a way to warm our hearts, believe in magic, and bring joy into our lives. This is Main Gate Magic, a podcast where we break down and discuss the infectious happiness, delight, and thrill of all things Disney. All right, welcome everybody. Today is Tuesday, March 26th, and welcome to Main Gate Magic. I am Jason Braden, your host, and with me, as always, is my beautiful co-host, my wife, my love, my Disney queen, Miss Lisa. Hi, baby.
Hi.
And in the studio, we also have Mr. Jerry Cornell, my friend and owner of themeparkology.com. How you doing, Jerry?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being on our show today. It's very nice to have a special guest on today.
Well, thank you.
We look forward to learning more about you and all the Disney parks you've been to and all the videos you make and all the people you interview and everything.
That sounds great. Let's do it.
We will. So introductions aside, you might see that we are missing somebody today. Unfortunately, Mimi was not able to actually be with us today. We were going to be doing a cast member spotlight with her, but she had other plans and is going to be on the next podcast, and we'll be spotlighting her then instead. So, what we did last episode was we actually just did our own introductions. We told everybody who we are, what we do, what our message is, and what we hope to actually accomplish with this podcast. And I think it went pretty well. What do you think, baby?
Yeah, I think it went really well.
Yeah, I was happy with the results. There was some engagement with the audience, and looks like we have our first commenter, Patricia. She's like my number one fan so far. Hello, Patricia. How are you? And Leanne's on too. Hello, Leanne. Good to see you. Thanks for being on the show. We're going to start things off a little bit differently than we did last time because we don't have a lot of introductions to do, except for, of course, we're going to get to Jerry eventually here, but you're just going to kind of sit there and listen to all the stuff that we have to tell everybody about the news. Because we've got quite a bit to go over. There's been some developments with Disney and around the world and at the parks in general. Hi, Kim. How are you? Thanks for coming on. Good to see you. So we're going to start off with just general Disney news with the start of an Imagineer returning to Disneyland. Jerry, have you heard that Joe Road is coming back?
Yeah, I heard about that. It's exciting.
There's been no official return date confirmed, but and no announcement of what projects he's going to be working on, but he is coming back from what he has said. And for those of you who don't know, Joe Road was a former Disney Imagineer. His actual title was Executive Designer and VP Creative. It didn't say of Creative, it just said VP Creative. That's according to Wikipedia. And among other things, he was the lead designer of Animal Kingdom and principal creative force behind Expedition Everest, among other things. I know he did a lot of other stuff. I think he even worked on the Avatar experiences there too. Do you recall that?
Yeah, he worked on some of the mountains and the rock formations.
Right. So that's kind of exciting because he's got a pretty good mind, and I'm kind of interested to see what he's going to be doing. And there's some Disneyland news that might tie into that, which we'll get to in just a minute. But there's lots of Disneyland news, so I'm kind of saving that for the next segment here. In other general Disney news, there is a new cruise ship that is actually being launched called the Destiny, that's being themed to heroes and villains. So I don't know if any of the other boats have themes, but this one is specifically designed towards heroes and villains and is going to be the 6th ship in the Disney fleet, along with the Magic, the Dream, the Fantasy, the Wonder, and the Wish. And according to the press release, it says that the Destiny, the new ship, and 2 other ships are going to be set to launch next year. So they're going to be launching like 3 brand new ships. Jerry, you've never been on a cruise, Disney cruise before, have you?
I've never been on a cruise, period. But
no,
yeah, no. But my wife and I are getting ready to celebrate our 25th anniversary, and we were just talking about maybe doing a cruise.
That is an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Don't you think so, baby?
Yes, I agree.
Although I think she wants to do like the Bahamas or the Caribbean, and I want to do Florida or some place where Disney has a theme park. That would be great. But it's fine.
The very first cruise that we did was with Norwegian, and we did the Western Caribbean, I think.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. No. Wait. Wherever Jamaica is.
West. It's West. Yeah.
It was West. That was a lot of fun, and our very first I think that was our very first East Coast Disney experience, right? At the end of our at the end of our cruise, we literally got off the ship. We, I think, checked our luggage into the hotel and then booked it over to Epcot. And we spent the day at Epcot. After, how long of a cruise was it? It was like a week and a half, wasn't it?
No, it was 8 days.
8 days. So yeah, like a full 7-day week. It was crazy. We were exhausted. But the park was great. The experience was amazing. And, of course, we just got back from our 10-year anniversary cruise. Was that last year or the year before? That was the year before, right?
Yeah, that was in 22.
22, right. Mm-hmm. And that was aboard the Royal Caribbean. At the time was the biggest ship in the world, but then, of course, they launched another one right before we set sail, and we were no longer sailing on the biggest cruise ship in the world. I don't think Disney's looking to break any records, but we still want to go on a Disney cruise eventually, right?
Yes, we will.
But what did you tell me the reason? You said originally you didn't want to go on because you didn't want to be surrounded by a bunch of little stomping feet around us. But there's actually lots of adult activities on the ship as well, from what I understand.
Yes.
And you've changed your mind.
I've spoken with a few people that said, there's plenty of places you can go where you're not going to be, mixed in with the little kids. And it's not that I don't like little kids, because I do.
Of course.
But when I'm on vacation, I just want to have my fun. And, if I go to a theme park, I already know there's going to be a lot of kids. But I get to leave that theme park and go home.
Yes.
When you're on a cruise, you're just going to go back to your room and hope that your neighbors don't have kids.
Like grandchildren, right, Jerry? You love having them around. You love spending time with them. Yeah. But then at the end of the day, here you go. Take them back.
Yeah. No, I love having my grandkids, but, I get where Lisa's coming from. Sometimes you just need some one-on-one time with your spouse or significant other. Right. And, you just want to enjoy yourself and not have to worry, where's the kids or what are they doing? What are they getting into? I get that. And that's why I'm kind of looking forward to going away on a cruise. But
yeah. You should. It's so much fun. I think you would really enjoy it. I think your wife
before
would
we
too.
do that, we'll be going to Legoland with all the grandkids. So I won't feel guilty about going on a cruise without them.
There you go.
Yeah.
I actually saw a video that I don't know if it was the one in. They have a Legoland in Florida too, I think, right?
I believe they do.
Okay.
My research, I've only seen the one in Anaheim.
Yeah, the video that I saw, I'm pretty sure was the one down in Southern California, but I want to say it's near San Diego or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, it's in San Diego.
Yeah. They have like 2 brand new attractions that just opened themed around dinosaurs. So
very nice.
Yeah. So if was it Ethan likes dinosaurs, right?
Ethan loves dinosaurs. Emmett does too. Emmett likes whatever his big brother likes.
Hello, Sean. Thanks for joining. Good to see you, buddy.
Man, I haven't seen Sean or heard from him in like ages. Wow.
Well, there he is. He was on the last one too, I believe. Yeah. Sean is one of the guys that actually helped me kind of get this whole thing started because he's got experience on Walt's Apartment podcast, and I feel like I'm doing the same. I'm walking in his footsteps, so to speak, here. So yeah, thanks again, Sean, for all the help that you gave me to get this up and running. It was very much appreciated. Patricia says, I've been to the Legoland in Florida, Orlando. I think it's been a while. Yeah, I know that it's a neat looking park, but I think it's more geared towards little ones. I don't know if it's as much of a park for Yeah, I don't know if it's as much of a park for just
there's nothing
adults.
for kids. I mean, for teenagers or adults. It's all little rides for children, but
Yeah,
teenagers can also, if they're willing and able to go with their little brothers or sisters, it can be enjoyable. They can do that. But that's one of the reasons why I like going to Legoland, or will like going to Legoland, is because, you know, I get to ride on one of my favorite little buddies, and my granddaughters, and Layla, and all my grandkids. It's going to be great. I'm really
that's the
excited.
best. To experience it through their eyes for the very first time is always an amazing thing. I haven't had got the opportunity to do that, but I remember when my kids were little and I saw them experience Disneyland for the very
Yeah.
first time, and that was incredible. I remember when Nicholas, he was probably like, I think he was just a year old, and he had this look on his face the entire time, like, where did you take me? The eyes were just bugging out of his head, and he was just scanning, and he was very quiet through most of the time, and it was just incredible to actually see the experience, the look on his face based on the experiences.
Yeah.
Sean says, congratulations on the new show. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and transition into Disneyland news. And something that I'm very excited for. Season of the Force is coming very soon. It kicks off on
Yeah.
April 5th and runs through June 2nd. Long time. I'm happy to see that.
Mhm.
But they are also going to be having Star Wars Night, their After Dark party, which runs from April 16th through May 9th. And that's one of those special events that you have to, buy tickets for. And it gives you admission to the park, I think, 3 hours before the actual event. And then you stay until either closing or an hour after. I want to say it's open extra later for those particular events like Oogie Boogie's Bash and Villains Night, etc.
Right. I believe it goes to 1 a.m.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I think so. So with Season of the Force and Star Wars Night, they are also doing a new fireworks show at Galaxy's Edge, which
Mhm.
I think we may have just learned about that yesterday. At least
Right.
I knew about it for the first time yesterday when you told me about it. And it's called Fire of the Rising Moons. And it's, from what I understand, it's going to be visible from many different places, not only within the park itself, but of course within Galaxy's Edge, because I'm sure that's where they're going to be lighting them off, like behind the spires and stuff like that. And from what I understand, the cast members are actually going to be really involved, and it's going to be like a celebration of something Star Wars related within the land. I thought that's really cool because they're theming it, or maybe almost like the celebration that they did at the end of Jedi.
Hmm.
When the planets are celebrating that the Emperor's finally, been defeated and stuff like that. So that's cool. So there are new experiences also coming for Star Tours on Season of the Force. And they're going to be going to locations from Ahsoka, Andor, and The Mandalorian, which I'm happy to see because it's I think Star Tours is one of the rides that just continuously changes.
Right.
I mean, that's been there since the 80s, and all they have to do is literally just change the show on the screen and the movements
Mhm.
to go with everything, and it's like you're on a brand new ride, and they do a great job with it too. Now, Jerry, you've done stuff for Tomorrowland? We haven't done a DVD for Tomorrowland yet, have we?
I've done like a couple of attractions like Buzz Lightyear, and
Attractions, right?
I've talked a little bit. I've done some forgotten attractions like the Carousel of Progress. Some of the attractions that were there that are no longer there, I've done some of those documentaries. But on the whole, I haven't done one on Tomorrowland because it's difficult because I start writing the script for it, and then things change, and then
I know.
okay,
Right.
delete and start
Snow
over.
White.
Yeah, yeah, Snow White is, yeah. But it's ever evolving, so it's kind of hard to kind of just lock it in and write a script that's you hope's not going to change by the time the DVD is released. So, but
Yep.
I'll get there. I only have
For
like
the
3 or 4 more lands left to do before I get to it.
Yeah, it's true. We have done a majority of them so far, haven't we?
Yes, yes.
For those who are listening, and maybe for those who are just joining in live, Jerry is the owner of themeparkology.com. I also forget that we're going to upload the audio for this, and some people are going to be going like, "Wait, what's a Jerry? What's a theme parkology?"
What's a
um,
Jerry?
so Jerry does DVDs and documentaries about theme parks, not just Disney stuff, but you've done like Universal Studios
Yeah,
and
Universal Studios. I've done the New York World's Fair, the 1964
right.
New York World's Fair, Disney California, even though it's Disney related. Excuse me, even though it's Disney related, it's a sister park. So I've done one on
Frontier
that.
Village.
Frontier Village, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
yeah. So
I got a few more in line that will be released, hopefully this year.
yes.
So
And again, to educate our listeners and our viewers, I do lots of narration for these DVDs, which I'm very, very happy to be a part of. It's so much fun to actually learn about all these different things and actually get new facts that sometimes I've never even heard of before.
Yeah.
So thank you for those experiences, by the way.
oh,
All right,
my pleasure.
continuing on to Disneyland news, and with Season of the Force, they are, of course, going to be doing the usual overlay on Space Mountain, and they're going to be changing it to Hyperspace Mountain.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they've added new effects to the regular Space Mountain ride, like better digital projections and stuff like that. It makes me wonder if the new Hyperspace Mountain is going to be like even better than it was before as well. It was already pretty cool, but it's with today's technology and the brighter, lamps that they put in projectors and stuff like that, I really hope that it'll be something where people can be, wow, this was better than I remember it.
Yeah.
Now, Jerry, when's the last time that you've been to Disneyland?
Let's see. I guess I went with my daughter last year, close to winter, I think, or maybe, yeah, it was like November, I believe, or August, somewhere around there. Had a blast. My daughter and I just loved being there, and she's of all my kids, my daughter Danielle, my oldest, is the Disney fanatic and loves Disney the way I do. So so she can appreciate the things that I can appreciate, and we can discover new things together. That's one of the joys of being in a park with someone you love who also loves Disney.
I 100% agree with that. Had you been on Hyperspace Mountain before?
I've been on it several times.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, everything just goes by so fast. It's like, hey, what was that? And it's gone.
It does.
You got to go on it again, and then, after like the 6th or 7th time, you get a glimpse of what it was. But it's a clever idea. I love it.
Well, hello
Hey,
there, Veronica. How are you? Thanks for stopping in and saying hello. I'm guessing that means you may not be able to stay for a long time, but I still appreciate the support and coming on. It's good to see you. All right, so finishing off the Season of the Force, they are going to be having some popular food items returning throughout the park. But the one thing that I thought was really cool is it's going to be at the Grand Californian Great Hall Cart. I'm not exactly sure where that's at, but they have some extra treats there that I don't think are going to be available in the parks, such as lightsaber pretzels and, I wish I had a drum roll sound effect ready, Wookiee cookies.
Wookiee cookies. Okay.
Now I know Wookiee cookies from Lego Star Wars. It's something. It's like a little bit of a joke that they throw in with Chewbacca, and they are literally like these little brown cookies with a bandolier across them, like kind of like a just going straight across, and it looks just like you're eating a little piece of Chewbacca. That sounds so wrong. It sounded better in my head. But a lot of other food items and drinks throughout the parks as well. Continuing on Disneyland news. This one's a little bit older, but we learned that there is an Avatar experience coming to Disneyland. Bob Iger dropped the news during a recent investment call. I want to say maybe it's been a few weeks now. That was probably for their annual meeting. Pandora already exists at the Animal Kingdom, and it was opened up in 2017. And the current attractions are the Way of Water, and the Flight of Passage, which are both incredible rides.
Yes.
The only thing that they haven't specified is if it's going to be a duplicate of one of those two rides, and also where. Now, I think the speculation that most people are thinking is that it's going to be somewhere in Tomorrowland, because there's a lot of unused space out there. And things that I think people are just saying could be gotten rid of, and I think Autopia is definitely one of the ones that they are talking about demolishing and making way for that, and kind of putting it in the back area where all the woodsy area where the monorail track and the people mover track runs, and even over by where the boat ride used to be, which is now sort of like a little snack or just seating area. It used to be like a smoking area. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like on the other side of the Matterhorn line queue, I think.
Yeah.
So all that area over there, I think, is where people are speculating and it's going to go. But I think it's going to be a while before we even hear anything more about that. There's a lot of planning that needs to be done. And that is the news that I think ties in also to Joe Rohde returning. So if he's returning shortly after the news of the Avatar experience, there could be a little correlation there that he might be actually involved. Oh my gosh, look who it is. Hello, Don. And all he did is put a little shock face. Thanks for joining, Don. It's good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining. All right. Last up on the Disneyland news, Tiana's Bayou Adventure construction continues at both parks. They did a video not too long ago showing some of the animatronics for Tiana. They have decided to go with the traditional animatronics with, motors and gears and stuff versus the projected animated faces. And it looks really, really good. Very similar to how they did Ariel in the Little Mermaid ride at California Adventures and the sister ride at, I think it's Magic Kingdom. And then they did also do some ride testing. I saw videos for that as well. I think just fans putting stuff on YouTube, but only at the Orlando attraction. I don't know if we've seen any boats testing yet at Anaheim, but I can't imagine it's too far behind. And the opening day for that is still not quite announced, but they have said it is coming in 2024. So we will see it before the end of the year. I'm thinking it's got to be ready by summer. I mean, it's a water ride. We got to have it ready by summer, right?
I would think so. Water and heat goes pretty good together for an attraction.
Right.
Yeah, right. That is definitely a ride that you're going to be, you're going to be wanting to ride during the summertime because it definitely keeps you very cool. Okay, I've got a few more things. Movies. We've got Wish streaming on Disney Plus starting on April 3rd. It is a movie that we have not seen yet. Jerry, you've seen it, right?
I've not seen it.
No, you haven't seen that one yet. Oh, I thought you had for some reason. It released in theaters back in November and of 2023, that is. It has the voice talents of Ariana DeBose, I think is how you pronounce her last name. It's Debose. And she is from Hamilton fame, which is another one that I haven't seen. It also has Chris Pine, who is the new Captain Kirk, and Alan Tudyk, who is the star of his own show, Resident Alien, and just a huge, talented voiceover artist. He's somebody I wish we could nab for adventurous ideas, Jerry. That would be so amazing.
I can't say anything about that, but we'll see.
Maybe during the meeting on Friday?
Never know. Never know.
We'll talk a little bit about the company adventurous ideas later on, too. And the final category I've got here is Star Wars. Aside from the Star Wars news that we did for Disneyland, there is a new series coming to Disney Plus called The Acolyte. A new trailer dropped, I think, about a week ago. And IMDb says it takes viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. Now, I had to look this one up because I'm not as big of a Star Wars fan as most people, but apparently it takes place roughly 100 years before Episode 1. So this is not going to include any of the characters that we're used to. It's going to be brand new story, brand new characters, and they can even do new technology, or at least technology that looks similar to what we're used to, but just maybe older, I guess. I never quite understood how Star Wars technology works. Because sometimes, in Episode 1, the technology looked like fancier and brighter and shinier, like say on Naboo, but then all the other ships looked, kind of junky, but I think it's because the Rebels, that's all they could afford, right? They weren't funded by anybody.
Right.
I think that's because their budget was bigger.
Right. Yeah, Naboo is like a very rich city, so.
Yeah.
It is going to have a 2-episode premiere starting on June 4th, and the trailer was pretty neat. It definitely shows a lot of Jedi action and a lot of maybe Sith activity as well. I don't know for sure. But it does show younglings being trained and lots of force fights where people are pushing each other back and lightsabers galore. If you haven't had a chance, Google it, watch it on YouTube. It looks pretty cool. And again, June 4th is when the 2-episode trailer premieres on Disney, or the 2-episode premiere happens on Disney Plus. And last but not least, this one I had to throw in because it's my love of Star Wars is video games. There is a new game coming out called Outlaws by a company called Ubisoft. And from what I have heard, it's been described as Grand Theft Auto in space. Star Wars' version of Grand Theft Auto. Probably more PG-13 rated than R-rated, I would imagine.
Right.
But that tagline in itself is enough for me to say, yeah, take my money. I want it. There's been a few videos out with gameplay. There's been a lot of great technology advances with the my gosh, I'm drawing a blank of the graphics engine that they use. The Unreal engine. They're using that to do a lot of the ray tracing and the lighting effects and everything to make it as realistic as possible. Much better than the predecessors. The last hit was called Jedi Survivor from 2023 by Respawn Entertainment, with another one in production as well. As an untitled first-person shooter. So instead of, like falling behind the character, you are in the eyes of the character. So that's all I got for the news. And I just realized that after all of that, I never even got to play my little intro for the news. So I'll do it now just so you guys can actually hear it.
It's time for Main Gate Magic News.
There you go.
All right.
So now, that's the first half of our show. Guess who's on the second half? Jerry?
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say Lisa.
No.
Oh.
She's already doing everything she can by just looking as beautiful as she is.
Oh, thanks, baby.
I'm going to catch hell for that in one way or the other after the show's over.
I said thank you.
I know. Thank you. You're welcome. So, again, welcome, Jerry. We've already talked about that you are the owner of themeparkology.com, and you do video documentaries on theme parks. So we know that much of you. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about when Theme Parkology was created and why did you do it?
Oh, gosh. I believe it started in 2007 when I just wanted more information on theme parks and the attractions and how do they work and how do they get built and what are the concept behind it. And there's a lot of attractions that have fictitious storylines that go with it. And I thought it'd be great if I could see something like that on video. Back then, DVDs were, the it thing. Following just VCRs just got, gone. Nobody uses them anymore. So everybody's getting DVDs. So I actually started doing a documentary. My first one was Disneyland in the 50s, and I did it all in black and white so you could kind of get a feel what it's like, what it looks like. I really wanted to preserve the history of all these stories, all these attractions and lands and theme parks, and a lot of them aren't there anymore. Some of the rides are gone. So I thought, well, I'll be the one that chronologize all the attractions and theme parks. And so the first one came out, I believe it was in 2008. And then I was very fortunate enough to have met Linda Swisher, who introduced me to her good friend, Margaret Carey, who's the reference model for Tinkerbell. And that really changed things because we agreed to do an interview. She wanted to meet me first, so she invited me to her birthday party. It was a big thing. And I didn't realize all the celebrities were there. I didn't even know half of them. And I just interviewed them, and she liked what I did and said, okay, let's do the interview. So we did a documentary on Tinkerbell. And the nice thing about when you're friends with someone that's Disney related, and this goes for any Disney fan, is they invite you into their circle. Whether it's a theme park enthusiast or even a specific attraction. They'll a love for Splash Mountain. You got a group of people that they'll invite you into their circle. Well, Margaret did that, and she introduced me to Eddie Carroll, the voice of Jiminy Cricket. So we did a documentary with him, and then was I want to say June Foray, who's a voiceover starlet. She's just amazing. And then Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, and so on. So it started growing, and I started branching out and started doing certain subjects. Like I would have a theme park series, which is basically all theme parks, and it's not just necessarily Disney. It can be, Universal Studios or Frontier Village. But then I branched out to dark rides to include like Snow White and Peter Pan and those dark rides, Ariel's, and then forgotten attractions that are no longer there. So all these categories just really grew, and I'm still doing it. And I do the research, I do the script. Sometimes I hire people to write the scripts for me. I then look for somebody that I can interview. I've met so many talented, wonderful people. Bob Gurr, Roy Crump, all those Imagineers that they're just amazing. They want their story to be told. Floyd Norman. I mean, these are really, really great people that I was very blessed to be able to talk to and preserve their story. And it's just growing. I'm still doing it, and people are still loving it. So
yeah, and the networking is real. I mean,
yeah.
I've learned that in the last few years since I've known you and been to the conventions and sat at your table and sat at Andrew's table, and it's fantastic how much people love this industry and how much they love to tell their stories. And you're right, everybody has these great stories. And it's wonderful that they just are excited to share it. I need to just do a quick little shout out. Our daughter is on. Hello, Jessica. Thank you for joining and watching.
Hi, Jess.
Hello. So you mentioned Margaret Carey. I think Josh, our buddy Josh, he still does her. He still manages her bookings and stuff like that.
Oh, that's a different Tinkerbell reference.
Oh, a
She was
different
the one
Tinkerbell.
that flew from
Oh, you were
the
saying
castle.
the reference from the
model
movie.
from the film.
From the
Yes.
movie,
I'm sorry.
right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that Tinkerbell is somebody you interviewed, but the one that Joshua did, I forget her name. Do you remember her name? The one that flew across the castle and did the Tinkerbell thing for years at Disneyland Park? If you can, it's
You'll
no
have
big
to ask
deal.
Joshua.
Yeah, he actually said that he would reach out to her to see if she could be a guest on our show. So that would be
Yeah.
exciting to have her on there because
Yeah.
talk about some stories. I mean,
Oh yeah, she did.
I can
I used to do a
yeah.
podcast back, that I had on my website, and we did an interview with her, and she's got some crazy, amazing stories. That I don't think you could get away with today. But
Oh no.
yeah, she's great.
Well,
She's funny.
at least not get rehired at Disneyland because Mimi was talking about that. She was going to be today's spotlighted, guest and talking about all the fun things that she did as a cast member at Disneyland. And she's like, I have lots of stories to tell. I don't know if I can get away with it without, never being rehired at Disneyland again.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, there's really, what are they going to do? They're going to reach out to her and they're going to arrest her or something like that. There's really nothing that can be done at this point. I mean, yeah,
No,
they
no.
probably wouldn't put her back on the payroll, but it is what it is at this point. So what's your family feel about this? Because you're always busy. You are
Yeah.
always doing like new scripts. You're doing editing. You're doing Zoom meetings with interviews, and of course you have the stuff with Adventurous Ideas, which we'll get into a little bit later. You're just always busy, and then you got grandkids over. I don't know how you have the time, but
Well,
how
first
does
and
your
foremost,
wife and kids and
my grandkids take precedent over anything.
of course.
Of course,
Yeah.
and I purposely do that so that my friends and my people I interview and talk to, business people and my family as well, know that there's nothing more important to me than family, and it should be like that for everyone. You
Yes.
know, then comes the family that I have that are work related, but they support what I do. They love what I do, and when my kids were growing up, they didn't see it as like wow, because I would say, hey, this is Margaret Carey, or this is Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, and he would sing the song, that Goofy song and
No, really?
from the film, and he
Yeah.
sang it especially for her. And then they would send them birthday wishes, happy birthday, Savannah,
Aw.
and
Oh,
and they just thought, oh, okay. And I'm like, you have no idea who these people are, and
You
then
have legends leaving you birthday messages. What's
yeah.
wrong with you?
Yeah. But now that they're older, they appreciate it more. And um, Taylor loved Bob Gurr, and Bob Gurr was just smitten with her. He was just funny story. We were at Bob and I. We hang out quite a bit, not a lot, but we do a lot of interviews. And when we see each other, we always hang out, and he's a funny guy. Anybody who knows Bob knows he's a great storyteller. He's a funny guy, and he's just a lovable. How could you not want to love that guy? Well, we happened to be at a D23 event, and I wanted to go say hello to him, and Taylor did too because she loved Bob. And we go up there, but the security guy came and stopped us and said, "No, everyone on this row is they're taking a break. You're not allowed to go in there." And Bob saw that, and he came up to the security guard and he said, "No, let them through. I know these people. He's been to my house. He's a good friend of mine." And they let us in, and we got to hang out with him and chat with him. And I thought, who does that? You know,
I
yeah.
know.
Nobody does that anymore. But sweet guy, sweet guy.
Now, there's been a lot of Disney legends that have passed away recently, but Bob's still with us, right?
Yeah, Bob's still with us. He's in his 90s,
Yeah.
and active, very
Do you
active.
do you still chat with him at all?
Yeah, every now and then. In fact, the last time I talked to him, he had just done a bike run, bicycling. I'm like, what? He's also an editor. A lot of people don't know that, but he's also an editor, and we switch videos. Like he does, he goes on trips and vacation. Actually, I'm not even sure I'm supposed to say that, but uh, he'll give me a DVD, and I'll watch it and everything, and it's very well done. I'm like, why aren't you doing this? Oh, because you don't have to. And, and it's nice when I get to meet a fellow editor, because then it's like, oh, let's talk, let's shop talk. And then actually, Bill Farmer's wife, Jennifer, is an editor as well. And we swapped some projects, and it's just amazing how people have the same mindset. They want to preserve these stories, and it's fascinating. It's so cool. But yeah, Bob's a sweetheart and still active. Still, we lost a lot of good Imagineers over the years. Rolly Crump.
Rolly Crump is the recent one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of hard, because I had chatted with him not too long before. We were just still discussing a third interview, and we said, yeah, let's set a date and everything. And then I heard through the news that he had passed away, and I was just like, wow, that's sad, but I'm glad that I got to talk to him.
Absolutely. I would have loved to have met any of them, to be honest with you, just to share stories. Because, I mean, I've seen the interviews on the DVDs, obviously, but never a face-to-face just to kind of ask my own questions. That would be incredible. And it was kind of sad, too, because, I mean, and I don't want to stay on this too long. I don't want to bring people down or anything. But we were Andrew and I, were just at a Contra Costa Con Sunday, 2 days ago. And Mark Dodson was actually supposed to be at that show, and you know, and I know, Levy, that he had passed away very recently and very suddenly too. I think it had happened while he was traveling,
Mm-hmm.
and
that actually at a convention.
Yeah, and not too long before him, we lost Alan.
Alan Fernandez.
Yes.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Alan was a Tusken Raider in the original Episode 4 of Star Wars. He was the guy that was actually the bantha, or rather elephant handler, that was dressed as a bantha, and he actually used to work at the old Marine World in the Bay Area as an elephant handler, and that's how he got hired for the role of the
Yeah.
Tusken Raider, to be able to, handle the animals there. And then, of course, Mark Dodson, the voice of Salacious Crumb from Return of the Jedi, and he was also the voice of a few Gremlins, I believe,
Yeah.
and also one of our voices for Adventurous Ideas as well. So
Yeah.
very, very sad, but
It is.
happy to have
They're
known
all
them.
great people. Very
And
nice.
fantastic, and especially, I mean, Alan was. I didn't get to know Mark very well, except for the show that I went to the year before, which was also at the same hotel, the same kind of convention. It was a Star Wars convention, and I got to see the panel. I didn't get to talk to him very much, but I mean, I've heard nothing but amazing things about the guy. Super nice, super sweet. Just like Alan was a sweetheart. I mean, even after the first time that I actually met him, he friended me on Facebook. He sends me messages saying, "Hey, happy birthday. Hope you're having a great day." Blah blah. I mean, like, I didn't even know the guy, but here he is, just sending me messages and stuff, just like, regular old Joe, But like, he was on like one of the greatest films ever in the history of human beings. And he's wishing me a happy birthday. So yeah, just super wonderful people that we're just sorry to have lost. Now, Margaret Carey, you said that was your first DVD
Yes.
you ever did,
Well,
right?
no, my first DVD was Disneyland in the 50s, but it was
Oh,
the
okay.
first DVD that I ever had someone to interview. And
Oh, okay, gotcha.
rather than go right into Disneyland in the 60s, I decided, oh, let's try something new. And I had met Linda at a convention. She's such a sweet girl. She sells autograph signatures of various things. And I met her, and she says, "Oh, I like what you're doing. My good friend Margaret um, might be a good fix for you." She gave me Margaret's number, and I was like, there's no like in between. It's just a direct. I'm not ready for that. I'm just started off. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm supposed to sound like, I know what I want, where we're going. And it literally took me about a week and a half. I kept staring at the phone, and I just, what do I say? I don't want to sound stupid. But anybody who talks to Margaret knows Margaret is just instantly likable and instantly your friend. And that's what happened. And Margaret and I, we traveled together. We've done so many things together. We became really good friends. We still are. We're still good friends. But yeah, she literally gave me my start in the sense that she opened up the doors to interviewers and this, interview. Oh, you need to talk to this person, and oh, you should talk to Terry Hardin. And, oh, you should talk to. In fact, Margaret's the one that introduced me to Terry Hardin.
Oh my God, she's somebody I need to have on the show.
Yeah,
I would love to have her on.
Yeah.
I finally got to talk to her at, was it Bakersfield, I think?
Yeah,
And where we had dinner and everything. Yeah, that was a kick. That was a kick. And now I'm assuming that all that was also how you sort of got into the convention scene as well, right?
Yeah, I started getting press pass, and I'm like, "What's a press pass?" And then I would meet all these wonderful celebrities. I don't want to drop names, but when you get a press pass, you get to go behind the scenes and talk to singers and celebrities, and that was very nice. I did that 2 years, or actually it's every other year, so I did that twice. But then I realized that it's nice to get these interviews, but I'm missing the whole show.
Yeah.
I'm missing the panels. I'm missing the time with my kids because I brought my kids. They wanted to go. I met a lot of nice people. That was great. But I'm a Disney fan at heart, so I want to go to the booth. A lot of my friends have booths. I want to go say hello to them.
Right. Absolutely.
I want to shop. I want to look at the props and all that. So I stopped doing it after like the second. Maybe it was 3 times, but it was fun. It's fun. It's all thanks to Margaret. Margaret opened that door.
Isn't it funny how you have like one person that you can think back to that's like, yeah, you know what? I think that's the person that really kind of got me started on this, all right. And I think you are the one that kind of got me started on all this as well. I mean, although Leia is the one that introduced me to you, but the snowball just keeps rolling downhill and keeps building and collecting.
Yeah.
And now I know all these great people and hope to have a lot of them on the show. And every new person is an adventure and a new story. It's so fun. What do you think is the most memorable? Do you have like a most memorable interview where it's just
Yeah,
like, oh my
actually, I
God, that
do.
was just incredible? What's
Uh,
that?
I have several, but when you
Several?
said that, one immediately popped up. So
Oh,
again, it was at D23,
okay.
and I was doing interviews and everything, and I got to do. They said, "Hey, there's a group of because the media people they talk a little bit. It's not like what people say. It's very competitive and get out of my way. It's not like that. At least it wasn't at D23.
Yeah.
And someone told me, "Hey, there's a group going to be right there. You just stand right there." So I started talking to the handlers because every celebrity has a handler. They'll tell you who you want to talk to. And it was a group called Fifth Harmony. It was a singing group,
Yes.
and they had just come
Mhm.
We know
out.
them, right, baby?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And so I had to wait my turn, and they come and they talk. Hi, and we did a little promo shot. Hi, we're Fifth Harmony, and then after that, you're allowed to ask them 2 questions. I think it is, because obviously there's like a lot of people. So I basically did my 2 questions, which was like, how'd you guys meet and how you guys formed a group? And they told me all about the reality singing show that they did. And then I said, do you guys ever do any pranks? I want to do something different. Do you guys ever do pranks on each other? Oh yeah, they talked about it. And then they said, okay, next we got to. So as they were leaving, Camilla, I believe is how you say it, comes up to me and she squeezes my arm and says, "You remind me of my dad," and then
Oh,
smiled and walked away. And I thought, what a sweet thing to say.
yeah.
That was very memorable. Anytime I meet someone new or do an interview, I love hearing their stories. That's what That's why I love doing what I do. But yeah, that one was very memorable. Meeting Drake Bell was nice because um, he was on a very popular show, and my
Mhm.
daughter was a huge fan of his, but she didn't have a press pass. And so I walked up to Drake and I interviewed him, asked him a question, and I said, "Look, I know it's against rules, but my daughter's a huge fan and she's geeking out behind me." And he sees her, and he said, "Well, call her over." And I kid you not, the security just kind of like let her walk through, and Drake gave her a hug, took a photo with her. That to me was everything because it's all about my kids. Like when I
That
met
is so
Okay.
cool.
Wilmer Valderrama, he was doing something with Bob the Builder. I guess he was the voice of Bob the
Oh,
Builder.
okay.
Yeah, and so I
That is
got
a
to
show
meet
that
him.
was
But
very
more
popular with my
importantly,
kids.
my daughter was a huge fan. My daughter Savannah was a huge fan of the show,
Yeah.
so she got to go up, get pictures with him, and he hugged her, and then he pulled me aside, and we started talking about things, and it was really, he wasn't like, hold on, it wasn't like, he was just taking his time and just talking to me. A lot of people have this misconception that celebrities don't have the time or the they don't have the excitement to want to talk to you, or they don't have the energy, or they're not interested. But that's so far from the truth, at least from and I met a lot of wonderful people. They've always want to share the story. They always like to hear what you're doing. They another one was June Foray. That girl is amazing. Was the voice of so many characters like Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle,
Oh, yes.
and
Uh-huh.
she did all those shows, and um, we we were started. I was setting up for the interview. She was talking to my daughter Savannah. Again, she was like 7 or 8, has no idea who this lady is. And I'm like, you have no idea. Wait till you get older. So then we start the interview, and then like 10 minutes into it, she stops the show, and she asked Savannah, "Hey, are you hungry?" And Savannah said, "Yeah, kids start. They're not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm starving. My
Of
dad doesn't
course.
feed me. I don't know, some sad story." So she stops the show and she gets up and she makes my daughter a sandwich, and then gives her some juice and she eats it. And when she's done, she said, "Okay, let's continue." And I'll never forget how sweet that was. And I thanked her every time I saw her. I kept saying, "Thank you for being kind to my daughter," because that's to me that's everything.
Yeah, and Andrew, I think Andrew told me once, and I'm going to try to quote him, but I'm probably misquoting it a little bit. But he says, I mean, most celebrities are just ordinary people put into extraordinary circumstances,
Yeah,
and and it's true because I see it all the time, and you talk to these people, and some of them, there are a few out there, I'm not going to name names, where they are not as approachable as other people, I will say, just to be on the nice side. But for the most part, you can see the energy in these people when they meet people, and they're excited to share their story, like you said earlier, and get to know them and sign autographs and take pictures and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, they're just people, and if you're nice to them, they're nice to you, kind of a
Yeah.
thing. It's really not much different than meeting anybody on the street, from what I've seen anyway, for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah. I'm very
Um,
fortunate too, because if I may say,
yeah,
because they're they're not like, here's my number, let's do the interview, thank you, have a good life. We're still friends. We
yeah,
still talk to them. I met Amy O'Neill, what, a few short months ago.
yeah,
We've already done a project together. Amy and I are
right.
like really good friends, and we want to hang out and we talk about other future projects. But a
Amy
lot of
O'Neill,
these people, I don't see them as celebrities. I see them as just regular people that do, like
yeah,
Andrew says, extraordinary things. And
yeah.
uh, they're really sweet people. There's a
For
lot of
those
people.
who don't know, Amy O'Neill was the teenage daughter from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the movie from the '80s with Rick Moranis and a bunch of other people. She is a sweetheart. She's agreed to actually be a guest on this show too, so I'm looking forward to having her on. We've got a few more minutes. I just wanted to ask really quick. You are obviously not just involved in theme parkology. You have a new venture called Adventurous Ideas, which we all know about on this show here. But why don't you go ahead and just give a short description of what it is, and take a couple minutes to describe what's in the
Well,
works.
well, believe it or not, when I met Andrew, I was actually intimidated. I didn't want to. He's tall and he's Darth Vader, but I finally got the courage to meet him, and we became instant friends. And we've been friends over the years, and we share each other's projects. And he edits things for me, and we do things together. And one day, I was thinking of I had done an audio show, Dark Park, and I wanted him to hear it, and he liked it. And then one day we just both decided, let's form a company and produce these audio shows, because I have an imagination you would not believe. I mean, I come up with ideas so often, I have to write them down, and I need writers. And then so Andrew said, yeah, well, if you get a company, we can get writers, we can get voiceover artists, we can get people that people that I know. We can meet new people to do these audio shows. And basically it's just a script. We get actors and voiceover talent, and they do all the audio. We add special effects and music, and it's fantastic. And I love where we're going. I love the direction that it's going in, and I love the people we've met. It's just so many great stories that are coming.
I know you and Andrew are always joking by the time that you guys go to sleep at night, you can't shut your brain off because there's just so many new ideas just
We
flowing through your mind.
we just can't. I mean, Andrew and I are like schoolgirls. We literally
I
text each
know.
other every day at night, before we go to bed. Okay, night. Okay. And I got this idea. But yeah,
Jerry, we used to be like that. We used to text each other more often, but I
yeah.
don't know
But
what's
then you got
happened
too
lately.
busy. You got one of those soundproof studio recording studios, and
Well, I mean, it's not like you're forming a brand new company or getting contracts ready or, starting bank accounts and stuff like that. I mean, sheesh, what are you doing in your spare time?
I know, right? I always have time for my friends.
Well, I am certainly glad that you guys do share those brain cells because we wouldn't be where we are today with all the people that we've known and are still meeting who are interested in this. And that's one of the amazing things is that, every year that we go to these conventions, MouseCon, Contra Costa Con, the Toy Expo, and see all these celebrities there that have done voice acting before, some who haven't even done voice acting, and we tell them about the company, and without even hesitation, not even asking if they're interested, they automatically just say, I want to do that. And that is
Yeah,
how we get these people just to
yeah.
be a part of this incredible venture, and I can't wait to see what happens. So adventurousIdeas.com is where you can actually go to see all about this amazing company with all these amazing people. And within it is links to our very first episode of our first story called
Heroes of
Go ahead.
Extinction.
There you go. The first one's always free. We are working on the rest of them. I think they are in production and post-production on some episodes. And
Well, there's a
will be
lot
out.
going on. You'll see Friday.
Yes. Yes, and we
wait.
have a meeting about that this Friday, and I can't wait to hear everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But I know that the rest of the episodes will be available sometime later this year. We don't want to say a date yet because we don't want to disappoint anybody.
Right.
But this year it'll happen, and
Yeah.
I couldn't be more excited. That's all the questions I had for you. So thank you so much for sharing everything. As always, I interviewed you before on the Lowdown at the Download, which is another show for Adventurous Ideas, where I interviewed you about the show and the idea behind. Because I think Heroes of Extinction was your baby, right? It was your brainchild.
Dark Park, Heroes of Extinction, the earlier shows I didn't really think it was going to be as great as it is, but it's just phenomenal with talented voiceover actors. You're in a few scenes and shows, so
it's got a great backstory so far. I mean, not the story itself, but I mean just the production of this series. It has got a great backstory in it in general. Like if we were to ever do like a documentary on how this was conceptualized and conceptualized, it's that in itself is an amazing story. Yeah, absolutely.
The talent in it is just insane. One of my favorite. When I was growing up, I used to love this show called Shazam, and and he was played by Michael Gray.
Yes.
Oh my God, he's on the show. He's on Heroes of Extinction. I've got to talk to him and meet him and thank him for being, such a wholesome show while I was growing up. He's on the show, and then Andrew will say, "Oh, so and so wants what? Are you serious?" It's insane. It's a great show, and I can't wait for everyone to hear it. I can't wait for everyone to listen to it and hopefully enjoy it and sing along with the theme song and all that.
the robotic Heroes of Extinction. Yeah,
exactly.
I just butchered it for sure.
Or it'd be great to see people in conventions cosplaying as one of our characters.
That would be so cool. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention that there was a teacher that we had met at Contra Costa Con that had played episode 1 for her students, and I think you might know who I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
And she actually played episode 1 for her students because I think she's like an art teacher or something like that. And she said, "I want you to listen to this show and I want you to draw what you think these characters look like." And she did a video of it, which I haven't seen yet. I think Andrew has it. He told me he would show me, but I haven't seen it just yet. I'm sure you've probably seen it, right?
Well, maybe you'll see it on Friday.
Maybe I'll see it on Friday. But yeah, I mean, it's reaching people and it's got people thinking, because that's the whole idea behind the audio productions, is that you can actually create these characters in your mind.
You got to get Lisa in there in one of these shows.
Absolutely, absolutely. She can be the government representative.
She could be the guy she could be the person that's yelling at Chuck.
Right.
Okay.
She could be the bar hop, she serving all the drinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got a couple other things here that I want to go over before we wrap things up. We're almost I think we are on the hour, actually. It's 6:59. I'm almost done. I wanted to kind of give some people a little bit of an update on the shirts that we are making for the show. I've done several designs. I'm up to about 15 of them at this point. I'm still not comfortable, not ready to put them out for sale just yet. I still got to learn a bit more about how to get them launched. But for those who are watching right now, you are in for a treat, because I'm going to share a few of the designs. And for those who are just listening, you can go to our social media pages on Instagram and also on Facebook later to see them. So I'm going to go ahead and put the first one up there, right there. These are designs that are, and I'm sorry, baby, this is cutting your face off right now.
It's okay.
These are designs that are more of, if you know, you know. They are Disney based, but they are not Disney licensed, because there's nothing on there that I'm going to get in trouble for. But like the hi ho, it's off to work we go. But I've I've been told that that's kind of like a Mandela effect. It's actually Home
Right.
From Work We Go, which is what they first sing. But little did I know that Mimi actually taught us, I think the last episode or maybe even before that, there is another time they sing the song, and they do say it's Off to Work We Go. So it works both ways, but I just thought it was fun. I've got a few other ones that are, of course, Disney-based, Churro, Ride, Repeat. I've got a few character-based T-shirts, Bruce's Intervention Services, Bring a Chum, Fisher Friends, Not Food. No, that is not Bruce. That is just a shark that I found online that was license-free, and I could actually use it. We've got Lafitte's Landing. This was one of my favorites. I actually ordered the T-shirt, but then I realized I had made a mistake in the position of where it landed on the shirt, so that didn't work out so well. But it's fixed now, and it will be fixed. Just some random, little designs here and there. For those who know this one, Jerry, do you know what this one is in reference to?
Finding Nemo?
Absolutely. What does the
turtle?
EAC stand for?
I do not recall.
It's
the Eastern Australia Current.
You got it. Sorry, I should have
That's
asked you.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And
I like it.
rip it, roll it, and punch it is what Squirt says when they're about ready to exit the EAC, when the Jellyman and Dory have to get off at their stop. Another character-based one here. I've got a little Winnie the Pooh reference here.
I don't know.
I
About
had to
that
do
one.
this one. I had to do this one, and I think I will wear that shirt too.
No, that'd be great for infants.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Could you see that as a onesie?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd buy that for my granddaughter. Definitely.
Absolutely. See, hey, there, perfect idea. And then this is one of my most recent designs. It's another one of those if you know, you know. These, of course, are the doors from Monsters, Inc., but the lettering is from the movie It, and that's the most recent movie because the boys, they approach the doors and there's these scary, very scary, not so scary at all. And the colors I picked were designed towards the characters. So the green is for Mike Wazowski because he's not scary at all. And then the blue and purplish color here, that's for Sully. And this one, I couldn't pick another color. It was kind of scary because there's lots of other monsters, but I went with George Sanderson, who's the guy that got the 2319 on him, where he had the sock stuck to his back, and then they had to strip him down and disinfect him because he had child's clothing on him. So that's just an idea. I've got quite a few more that are in the works, and I really, really hope to have them available for sale sometime in April, I'm hoping. Patricia says, very cool. And I'm not going to put her other comment on there because it's more of an inside joke, but we can discuss it on the call on Friday. And Kim says, very cool idea for the kids. Yeah. Oh, and Patricia says, door number 3. Just scary, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. So for our next episode, we are going to revisit what we were going to be doing for this episode, which is the spotlight on Mimi Duty. She's also the former cast member at Disneyland. I think she worked there for a few years, which she was working there when we first met online, and we met her at the park a few times, and I think she did mostly retail, but she's got some fun stories that she can share, and it'll be a lot of fun to have her on and just talk about all the different things that she experienced while she was an employee there. But I think we're going to kind of wrap it up there. So, Jerry, thanks again very much for being on the show. I'm glad that you mustered up the courage to come on because I know you always are a behind-the-camera guy. But I still appreciate your courage to come on.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And Jerry, I wanted to thank you for giving Jason the opportunities that you've given him because we would never be sitting here having a podcast if you had not given him opportunities. So thank you so much.
It's
probably not. Yeah,
it's his talent that got him in the door, and I love to help people, and I love to, share people's talent, and he definitely is talented. And you guys go to Theme Parkology, order one of my DVDs. Jason most likely will be on it, and he's good at it. He's so
and more to come. More to come.
Yeah, I'm gonna
very soon too. I think.
Yeah, I got 3 scripts that I'm getting ready to send you.
Yes.
So,
and a couple more that are almost ready for production, right?
Right. Well, there's actually 3 of them that are done, including this one.
Woohoo!
And guess when that comes out?
I'm guessing on May the 4th.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
So, but no need to thank me. It's his talent that got him in the door. That he's just a great guy. Despite
Oh.
what I always say behind his back, he's a great guy.
You mean all the times that you fired me from my my sort of real job with you
Yeah,
guys?
yeah. I virtually fire you or
Virtually fire me,
take
right?
away your virtual car, have it towed, or
Exactly, or just lose my parking spot,
lose your
we're going to
parking
give it to the
spot.
new
Yeah,
guy. Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Or you lose your check.
Well, thanks. I mean, if anything, thanks for the inspiration because honestly, if I hadn't had met you and Andrew and everybody else in the last few years and had been as involved in everything, like Lisa said, I don't know if I would be doing this right now, and I'm having so much fun with it. And it's not even about like money or popularity. Again, this show is just to spread the joy and just to put a little bit more positivity out there in the world, and I hope everybody gets something from it every time that they listen. That's the goal.
Right.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, whoever's still watching and who is listening, thanks for joining again. This has only been episode 2 with many, many, many more to come. Again, thanks to our guest, Jerry Cornell, themeparkology.com, and of course, adventurousideas.com. Please take a look at those sites if you want to know more about his ventures in that area. And for the latest news and information on our upcoming episodes, please be sure to find us at Main Gate Magic on Instagram and also on Facebook. And until then, it's been a pleasure. This is so much fun. I can't stress enough how much this brings me happiness. I love it. It puts a smile on my face every time. Baby, thanks again, of course, for being my backup and for supporting me on this. And thanks again, everybody, for listening. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye everybody. Thank you for listening.
See you later.